There are few mysteries in life more intriguing than how they managed to fuck this up. Imagine getting millions and millions of dollars, access to the world's best Hollywood stars, access to intellectual property that everyone already loves. You have a story for Suicide Squad already in the DC vault in the form of Assault on Arkham, and then a half a dozen comics that you can take from. And you take all that and you decide to pull your pants down and take a nasty diarrhea shit all over it. That's what happened with Suicide Squad 2016. That's right, folks. Before we were given the great Suicide Squad movie of 2021, we were presented the greatest fumble of all time. DCEU's golden boy, Suicide Squad, was fucking ruined. Out of all the stories you choose to adapt, you choose this one? Let me tell you something about superhero movies, guys. The writers are oftentimes in favor of an apocalypse. Without the end of the world happening at the end of all of their movies and their climaxes, they don't feel like their movie's worthy enough. They feel like they need to make a movie that maximizes crazy budget, and the only way to do that is to make an apocalyptic ending. Think of all the movies that we've seen that really didn't necessarily need an end of the world event happening. Moon Knight, not a movie, a TV show, but still part of the modern superhero problem. They had literally two gods fighting in it. Shang-Chi, two godly dragons fighting. One dragon being the end of the world, like this darkness creature. Doctor Strange, Eternals, like the list just goes on, right? They called the Avengers level threat. Now every fucking movie has this. When it came to the Avengers movies themselves, I understand that it's an Avengers level threat. That's where the term comes from. It's fine. You have an ensemble of heroes that are needed to stop this one thing. But the problem I see now is that every fucking superhero movie is trying to be like that now. You had this problem come up with the Suicide Squad movie in 2016. I'm going to be completely honest. David Ayer had only 1 month to write that film, so I'm going to give him some leeway. But even in a month, I know I'm some random dude on the internet, but he could have made one switch in his villains, and that would have saved his movie a little bit. I'm not saying it wouldn't have problems. It still would, because it's written like garbage and it's edited to shit. And Warner Brothers is an absolutely crap studio that had no faith in him as a director, even though they trust Nolan they'll go die off a cliff for Nolan. But David Ayer, he just doesn't have that proof of concept with him, I guess. So they didn't trust him to deliver. They made Enchantress the fucking villain for Suicide Squad, who is established as a very overpowered, godly, cosmic witch who has dark magic powers that could obliterate the entire Suicide Squad team if she wanted. And this has a world-ending event. Her shooting a lightning beam into the sky and turning every person around her into zombies and then resurrecting gods and stuff. Like, how on earth would the Suicide Squad stop this? One of them is a crocodile man. The other one shoots fire. The other one is a good sniper. The other one has like boomerang blades and then a crazy chick with a bat. Ooh, look at me with my acrobatics and my baseball bat that I'm going to use to fight off evil. No one from this team is remotely qualified to take on this level of threat. And to be honest, you don't need that to be the case either. Okay? If you had just put the Joker as a goddamn villain and have the Joker maybe team up with another villain who's maybe has some superpowers, but just have the Joker be a threat and have it a personal vendetta between Harley Quinn and him, and it can be just a simple plot about, okay, the Joker's stolen government secrets and is threatening to expose Amanda Waller's entire cabal, and Amanda Waller needs the team to go and try to kill him, and it's this battle between two sides of a conflict. It's almost a battle of philosophies. The Joker's trying to cause chaos to the order that Amanda's trying to establish, and she's trying to end him with her team. Like, it's a better plot than whatever the hell the Enchantress is. What a terrible villain. This is the Enchantress in the movie. Look. That's how she walks. That's how she walks. She's a cringe character, and for some reason they make her do hand-to-hand combat with Deadshot and Harley Quinn in the finale of this movie when she could easily just blow them all up with her dark powers. It makes no sense. Same with Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, we got to end the entire multiverse. That's our main story. What's her name? Cassandra Nova, garbage villain. Like, do you guys understand? Like, you don't need to have this in every single superhero movie, for fuck's sake. All right? I understand, by the way, for the people who are skeptical of my opinion that Joker should have been the villain for Suicide Squad. Oh, we don't need Joker to be the villain. He's in the villain of everything. He's already been the villain for Batman. I understand that, but he would have been better if we're just using the characters David Ayer was given to use, he would have been a better villain than Enchantress because he's not a world-ending threat. He's a freaking Joker. He's a psychotic clown who has a couple thugs working for him. He's a terrorist, essentially, right? Fighting off a terrorist is a much better thing for the Suicide Squad than Enchantress. Now, they managed to pull it off in Suicide Squad 2021 with that big star alien. And yes, that was a world-ending threat, technically. But they did such a good job at establishing the characters, establishing that world, and matching the humor and the comedy with the violence and all that, and just having a good story that it worked out. That's one exception to the rule, and you do have some exceptions to the rule, but every time we need to make a movie about a single hero who doesn't really have crazy powers, every time we try to make it like Age of Ultron, where there's like a world-ending threat at the end, the movie goes to shit. The third acts go to shit. Every single movie now has a climax problem. And with superhero movies, it's oftentimes comes down to a big CGI mess, like a war. Because we just need world-ending powers to be established for some fucking reason. We need to stop this. I'm afraid that they would do this with even the more street-level heroes too. You know, Echo randomly got powers at the end. Daredevil, they're probably going to give Daredevil a Shadowlands arc, and he's going to try to fight hell or some shit. It's so stupid. Superhero movies I don't even need them to be grounded and realistic and dark and gritty necessarily, but we shouldn't have some world-ending threat. Logan. Everyone loves Logan, right? Part of the reason that movie's so good is because it knows what it is, and it doesn't try to be this overarching bombastic blockbuster movie that needs some kind of CGI like world-ending sequence at the end. It's a very personal story. It's literally Logan saving a bunch of kids from these freaks who are trying to experiment on them. Like, it's not like this world-ending apocalypse, right? It's Logan fighting off a bunch of people in a forest and fighting himself, essentially. So there's a reason why people like these stories, right? They feel more real, right? Logan's not necessarily like grounded in reality, right? It's a story about friggin' mutants with powers, but it's realistic, all right? I don't see movies made by Marvel now and see like, oh god, I actually feel something now. It feels so real. It doesn't. It feels like we're trying to force an apocalypse, a doomsday event at the end of every single film. So we need to fucking stop this, guys. We do. We need to go back to having villains that are just normal and not like superpowered freaks with no personality and just want to blow up the world. We need to have villains that are more personable to our protagonists, right? One of the main reasons I think Joker would have been a great villain for Suicide Squad is he's a personable villain for both Harley Quinn and Deadshot, because you could establish Harley Quinn and Deadshot as maybe trying to have a relationship in that movie like they did in the comics in Assault on Arkham, and Harley Quinn has a personal need to go beyond the shadow that Joker as an abusive freaking boyfriend has casted on her too, right? It's a story about personal growth for her and her trying to get one on Joker, and then Deadshot showing her that a guy in her life, a person in her life, can support her and be there for her without fucking her head up. That's why I use Suicide Squad 2016 as an example. You can use any film as an example, but that one really sticks out to me because you really had an opportunity there to make a great damn film, and you didn't. Instead, you chose Enchantress, who has shoots a sky beam into the sky, because every movie needs that now, and builds an army of zombies. And oh god, here's my hot take: I actually don't mind Jared Leto's Joker. I get it. He's got damaged tattoo on his forehead. It's stupid. It's on the nose. He's a goofball. He acts like a cringe, edgy weirdo. I understand. Is there any other MCU films that I can think of that don't end in a world-ending like conflict or some shit? Civil War. That's another one too. It's a very personal conflict between the heroes. There are probably a lot of examples that I can't think of off the bat, but like every single movie, even Guardians 3, which I really liked and is a good movie, like the High Evolutionary is trying to blow up every single race that he doesn't find like worthy enough or some shit, right? Like some plot like that was happening. So guys, we can do better. We can do so much better as a superhero. As superhero films, we can do so much better. I want superhero films to be better because I want us to get off the stereotype that many people in the industry think of superhero films as, like, oh, they're just like roller coaster popcorn flicks. Martin Scorsese's right, but I don't want him to be right. I want us to establish that superhero movies can be higher forms of art. Let's fix our third acts, fix our villains, and let's fix our superhero films.